I'm Rob Chappers.
And I'm the captain.
And today we are somewhere very different. We are at Maplewood Studios.
Yes.
Look at the glistening lights and goodness around thee.
In sunny Kent.
Yes.
And we have transported the world of Two-Rock all the way from California via Guildford to Kent.
Two-Rock amplification in East Peckham.
So, you guys know that Andertons became a Two-Rock dealer recently, and we've been so blown away by these amplifiers. I thought we'll bring them down to the Sticks proper studio where we've got a nice kind of acoustically treated room. So what you'll be hearing now is probably the truest kind of character of these amplifiers.
We kind of wanted to do them justice, didn't we? This is the thing.
Yeah.
There aren't many really good quality demos of Two-Rock amplification out there.
Yeah.
And the clean tones are so beautiful that you
Yeah.
need to do them justice with good mics, and we've got plenty of mic in this room.
Absolutely. So, without wanting to try and talk for ages, because there's quite a bit of stuff about Two-Rock which is kind of funky, in a nutshell, what I've got here are the three different amplifiers from their sort of portable range. So you've got Studio Pro, the new Gain Master, and the Jet. And we'll go through those all in a bit more detail. Fundamentally, what you need to know about Two-Rock is a couple of guys out in America, Bill and Joe, been making amplifiers all their lives, and back in 1999 started a company building amplifiers based on those very kind of classic kind of Fendery, Dumble type tones. So it's all about the clean. They've had some amazing customers over the years.
It's the customers they've had that have really just brought their company to fruition.
Yeah, I think that there's something. Carlos Santana bought one of the very first amplifiers that they made, and then since then they've had guys.
I think
like,
it was the fifth amp they've made.
It was indeed the fifth amp they made. Guys like Robin Ford, Joe Bonamassa,
John Mayer.
I was going to say
all the Johns.
Yeah, if your name doesn't begin with J, then you can't own one unless your name's Carlos. But no, so basically, I think John Mayer was the first guy, he was the guy that really took Two-Rock from, a well-respected, well-known boutique amp company to kind of this sort of stratospheric kind of like, wow, what a tone.
Yeah, what Jimi Hendrix was to Marshall, John Mayer was to Two-Rock.
Yeah, kind of. So basically, the first amp that we're going to start off showing you is the Studio Pro. The Studio Pro is probably the closest one of the three here that we've got to the John Mayer signature.
Yeah.
It's really all about the clean sound. What we've also done, if you go on YouTube, you can type in John Mayer's pedal board and you'll come up with a little video with his tech. And I've got on the floor here some pedals that I've tried to sort of recreate John Mayer's pedal board. Although for this first part of the demo, we're not using any pedals at all. You're just hearing the amp straight. Yeah.
Something that's really cool about these amplifiers is they're not big.
Oh, no.
They are incredibly well constructed. I mean, you're going to see it float over the screen now. And they're so awesomely made. I mean, they're not very heavy, they're not very big, but my God, they fill the room with enough low end. It sounds like you got a 412 on.
I think if you're a pro guitar player, you are going to love, or your back is going to
love.
What do you call a back doctor? Your sort of chiropractor is going to love you, because these things are perfectly giggable and unbelievably small and light.
Yeah.
And if you just play at home and you just want great tone, your wife isn't going to mind if you have one of these in the living room, because it doesn't take up, half the space of a sofa.
One of the first things that Stick, that does the sound for the Andertons videos and also runs Maplewood Studios, hi Stick, said when he first heard the Two-Rock amps was, that's going to cut through in a mix like you wouldn't believe, like a knife through cake, like a Chappers through a steak if I ate corpse. And so what we decided to do was actually jam with these amplifiers, with the drummer and with the bassist, take it in terms to just abuse the amps, and in recorder man fashion, and hear the amp cut through, and we had some amazing results.
Yeah, we've had fun with that.
Here are some of those results. Back in the room.
Back in the room. We've got wired up here using an AB box, the Studio Pro 22, which is over on Chappers' side, and the Studio Pro 35 on my side. These are fundamentally the same amplifier, same size cabinet, same speaker in them. The difference is the 22 uses 6 V6 tubes in the output stage, and the 35 uses 6 L6s.
The 22 is a little bit darker, and a little bit thicker, which I really like. A little bit darker and thicker,
and does start to break up a little earlier, as you'd expect with a lower output amp. 35 is probably that more traditional classic Fender shimmery type tone. The 35 also has on the EQ section, which is bass, middle and treble like you'd expect, the 35 has a boost that you can pull out on all three.
And we'll show you this now in a pan over.
Yeah, and the 22 just has a boost on the bright control. Other than that, they're basically the same. They're single channel amplifiers.
Effects loops.
Stunning reverbs built in. Yeah, you have an effects loop. You have a contour control, which they suggest is almost like you would find your setting that gets you the best guitar tone, and then you just use the contour to compensate as you go to different venues. One of the things that Two Rocks say is for them, their passion, their mission is to build a guitar amplifier where if you put 5 different guitars through them, each guitar would kind of be able to get its character across. So, you know,
and we found that absolutely when we jammed, because we used 4 different guitars, and
all sound different.
They all sounded like the different guitars. You know, none of this kind of mush with just one sound coming through.
So we got no drive sound coming from within the amplifier. It will do a pushed kind of drive sound, but for us, we're just using pedals to get the drive sound. Now, one of the other features that's unique to the, or not unique, but out of these 3 series we've got here, it's the only one that features it, is this on the Studio Pro, is this thing called pickup loading. It's a
very
feature,
subtle, isn't it?
Yeah, I haven't come across this feature before, but it's essentially on the back of the amplifier is a notched kind of a notched sort of knob that allows you to reduce the sort of the input of the pickup from the guitar. Now, it's quite subtle.
I think it's the same thing found on the saturator pedal by Vox.
Oh, really?
They do it as well, or something very, very similar.
So the idea, what Two Rocks say, is that what it allows you to do is just back off the input gain from your guitar slightly before it hits the first gain stage of the amplifier. And it's designed to sort of just take some of that ringing edge off of a single coil pickup.
Yeah. It's just in pursuit of the ultimate clean tone, isn't it, really?
So what I've done on these, that's how we've got these 2 set up now, is with the pickup loading sort of full on, if you like. So in other words, we are reducing the that ringing as much as we can.
Just to give you an idea of the tones, I'll go through the pickups on this awesome Fender Strat by Fender, so you can hear what the tones of the amp sound like. This is the 22.
it's this wide. It's like this tall, about so deep. It's got a single 12-inch speaker in it, and it's got more than bass in it than I've heard from combos twice the size of this. You know, and it's even though it's a 112, it fills the room. You could easily gig with this. I quite like to just do that straight comparison to the 35
we'll do that.
now.
We'll do that.
So just do as a reference, just play the nice open chord, and I'll switch over. So I think you can hear that the 35 is a little bit more open, a little bit more bass end on it. Of course, it's got the bass boost feature, which the 22 doesn't have, so that also just gives that little extra sort of low end.
That's funny, because I earlier had thought that the 22 was darker, but it's just, whenever you turn the knob, something actually happens to the amplifier, and very often you don't get that with amplifiers, but it makes a big difference.
Yeah, these are very versatile. These aren't like some of perhaps the famous manufacturers of amplifiers where you plug in and regardless of what you do to the EQ,
are you talking about
it
anyone in
sounds the
particular,
same.
then, Lee?
Basically, yes, both the famous manufacturers of amplifiers. So these are very, very versatile. They'll do. I'm guessing, you could do anything from kind of, country rock through to blues, through to jazz, anything you like with this.
I'll tell you what's really cool is if you put both of the amplifiers on at the same time.
Yeah, well, here's both. Well, in fact, let's do, 35.
Very easy to play with. It's funny, the synergy of guitar and amp, if you get the right sound, it makes it easier to play. And that's what I'm experiencing right now from 2-Rock.
You've probably guessed by this time that 2-Rock amplifiers, they're not in the budget end of the guitar market. So this is a pro sort of purchase. Typically speaking, you can buy any of these amplifiers that I've showed you in either a head or a combo. They're all available as either a 22 or a 35 watt version. You can get them either in this very fetching black here or in an equally gorgeous blonde. Check out the Andertons website if you want to see some
much
pictures
prefer
of
the
those.
black, mate. I think it looks awesome.
Yeah, do you know what? I like the blonde, but there you go. You know what they say about
talks.
gentlemen prefer blonde. Although my wife's brunette and I love her, so.
Oh, I had to get that in there. Boom!
And so typically speaking, you're going to have to be looking at anything from sort of £1,600 up to about £2,500, depending on which one of these fine and dandy models that you like.
But you know what? It's a lot of money
for
a lot of amplifier.
Yeah, and of course, goes without saying, these are all handmade, all hand wired as well, so that no PCBs in here. Same thing again here, just some open chords with the Telecaster. So we're going to start with the 22 over here. Over to the 35.
The thing is, it sounds like a Telecaster, which is what it should do.
Absolutely. So let's see if it sounds like a Les Paul.
So the 2235 with the Les Paul standard from Les Paul Gibson guitars. There's a load of bass ends.
Big sound in here. It's like, I don't know, how big is this room, would you say? It's about
it's
4
about
meters
1,000
by 4
fathoms.
meters. And it's like, particularly with the Les Paul, you can really hear a lot of air being moved in here. I like
too. So, well, we've got you your basic clean tonality using both the amplifiers, using the Holy Trinity of Guitare, and now it's time to play with pedals, Liam.
Absolutely. So imagine you're the guitar player now. You've got your perfect kind of clean sound. You need some drive tones. You're a big kind of blues rock kind of fan. So pedals, what have we got? Well, as I said, I looked at a John Mayer pedal board video and tried to sort of replicate this. So we've got a Providence compressor. We've got the Keeley Katana boost, which is actually on John Mayer's board. We've got the Love Pedal Kalamazoo, which actually John Mayer has a Klon Centaur on his board, but this is kind of a Love Pedal's version of the Klon. We've got a Boss GE7 EQ pedal. We've got an Eventide, which is down the back here, Eventide delay pedal.
Awesome delay pedal, yeah.
We've also got here a Super Octave pedal, which isn't on John Mayer's board, but Chappers loves octave pedals. So that's what
Dave Hollingworth, our bassist, brought it around and said, "You've got to use that, mate. Use that. It's really good fun."
I'm powering all these pedals off the excellent T-Rex fuel tank, and and I've just got an AB pedal so that we can switch between. So really what we've done here is that the Providence compressor we're just going to use predominantly to sort of tighten up the clean sound. Katana boost we've got really as a fairly low level boost just to fatten the sound. The bulk of the drive is coming from the Love Pedal Kalamazoo. We've got a minuscule EQ sort of setting on the Boss EQ pedal just to kind of give it a little bit more mid-range during solos.
Yeah.